Hey, what's going on, everybody? Thank you so much for tuning in and for joining me. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Amber Gonzalez, and so I want to give an update of what has been going on. So a few weeks ago, I put a post out there that my daughter's car had been stolen, and that if anyone happened to see it, please contact me or the cops or whatever the case may be. And so let me just pause for a moment and just say thank you to everyone that took part in that did try to help out in looking for my daughter's car. Really grateful for that. Unfortunately, well, they did find the car. The cops ended up calling my daughter and said, "Hey, we found your car. It's here in Richmond." Now, I don't know if you're familiar with Richmond, California. But if you don't know Richmond, if you don't know the culture, the area, the surroundings, the people, and what it is, you do not want to be in Richmond, California. I don't care if it's daytime or nighttime. You do not want to be in Richmond, California. And so my daughter, who has never been there, and it was already getting late. It was getting dark. And she shows up with a friend to the car, and the cop was so gracious enough to wait for her to get there. And he was trying to wait with them, but he got called to go somewhere else. So he had to leave. And so they were not in a good area at all. And so my daughter sat in her friend's car while her friend was in my daughter's car trying to figure out how to get it started or if it can even start and all of that. In the meantime, I'm over here in South Dakota. I'm on the phone with our insurance trying to get her at least a tow truck to go there. She was covered under our insurance, but they were just saying she wasn't covered for towing and all this stuff. And it's getting late, and I'm on the phone trying to deal with them, and they're passing me around from place to place and having me call places, and they're all closed and that within the same insurance company. So I'm like, why would you send me to all these different departments knowing it's after hours and they're not going to answer the phone? So I was a little upset about that. Okay, no, I was mad. I was so mad. And I finally did get a hold of somebody. I was like, look, whatever we have to do, I just need to get a tow truck to my daughter. She's out there. She's been waiting for one. And she thinks it's on its way. And she had texted me. She was like, how much longer? I'm like, baby, you know what? I'm sorry. No one is coming. No one is coming. Just go home. Don't even worry about it. Just go home. And I'm still on the phone with the insurance company trying to work things out. And so I pay to get her covered so we can get a tow truck out there. And they were only going to take it for so many miles before they charge extra. And I was like, fine, I'll cover the cost, whatever. I just need to get that car to her. And when we finish doing everything, then they tell me, oh, well, she has to be with the car. I was like, are you kidding me? I was like, you're joking, right? Like, you don't know where she's at. It is late at night. And she had already been waiting for hours. So, no, she's not with the car, but I can guarantee you, I'm going to have you take the car to where she's at. And they were just adamant about it. They were like, nope, no budging. Do you know how long we've been with this company? We have been with this insurance for 14 years. 14 years. And the one time that we really need them, they don't come through. They don't help. It's like, look, I've had years of experience of working with people. I have learned along the way that do not be married to the rules. Like, yes, there are rules and there are guidelines that we have to abide by, but don't be married to them, because there are just some situations in some cases where you have to do what you have to do to help. And I felt like this is one of those cases. But they were not willing to help. So that cost them our membership. So needless to say, we were not happy with them. And my husband, I spoke with them on the phone, and I canceled, but they needed my husband to call. And so he called, and he told them how he felt. And yeah, so we're done with that. And I'm really grateful about, and I want to say this carefully, because yes, I'm grateful at the situation because it did bring out some stuff. It brought out a lot of things that were kind of just not visible. And so we were able to see things. However, it was unfortunate that it had to happen to this car because this car belonged to our aunt's father. And our aunt gave it to my husband at one point, and then when we moved, we gave it to Galinda so she could have a car while she was staying in California. But what the unfortunate thing about it is that our aunt's father had passed away, and this was originally his car. And so that was sad. That was sad. And that was also another burden that I was feeling because I was like, oh my gosh, like, of all the cars that this happened to, it had to happen to this one. Just feeling for our aunt and just putting her feelings into consideration of all of this. And so I know it wasn't easy. However, we were able to, long story short, we got through everything, and that insurance company ended up paying us money, paying us back, but also owing us more, it turned out. So we got back more in return than what we were actually expecting by canceling our membership with them and going with someone else, and saving money at the same time. But we were able to donate the car to Cars for Kids. I don't know if you guys ever heard of that. I've always seen billboards on it. I had never used it before, but I didn't want the car to be a total waste. And they took care of everything. So by the third day, because I was praying to God, I was like, God, please don't let anyone else steal the car. Let it just protect it where it's at. Just protect it where it is at, that no one touches it. And that this car can be donated, because they were telling me, yeah, but we can't get out there till this day. And so I was just like, oh my gosh, it might not even be there by the time you guys actually get there to pick it up. But God honored the prayer. He protected that car, and we were able to donate it to that place. And so, yeah, so it's not a total waste. And like I said, all of this had brought out some things that needed to be revealed, and our insurance was one of them. And so, yeah, we're done with them. We are so done with them. I'm very loyal, and at first, for a while, my husband was like, no, we need to switch. We need to switch. I was like, but we've been with this company for so long. Like, that means something, you know, and it does. But when we needed them most, they weren't there. They were not willing. And we had some words with each other, and I apologized for my behavior, but he did not either. And so I was just like, okay, all right. Not that I need an apology, but just, it shows character, you know, when you do. And I want to do my best that I can. And so, yeah. But anyways, we're done with that insurance, and we found another insurance, and we're saving money. And that's kind of my point of what I want to bring up too, is ever since we moved here, Jesus has been a bondservant in our life. He is showing us himself as a bondservant. I remember before leaving to South Dakota, a friend of ours called another couple friend to come over and pray for us to leave. And I didn't even think of even doing that. Like, it didn't even enter my mind. I was just so focused on packing and getting the car rental and putting everything we can, just go, you know. And so I was really grateful that my friend was thinking in that direction to pray a covering over us before we left. And the couple that came, her husband spoke something when he prayed over us. He spoke something specific, and he said a season of rest. And I got to tell you, that word is coming to pass. Like, that word is alive and active right now. I also heard sacrifice too. And so, yes, we are in a season of rest. We're also in a season of sacrifice. But God is showing us, as I said, God is showing us himself as a bondservant. And if you don't know what a bondservant is, it's basically, Jesus was a bondservant. And he went and he relieved people of their burdens. Whether it was in a moment burden or years of suffering, years of having a burden, he came as a bondservant to relieve people of their burdens. And that is what the season we are in. We are in a season where ever since we got here, Jesus has done nothing but relieved burdens from us. And it seems like anything to do with California, he is cutting us off from there. I don't know the full capacity of what that means, but right now we're here, and he is cutting us off from anything that has to do with California. I'm not talking about people, friends, family, or anything like that. But I'm talking about, I don't even know how to explain that part. I'm talking about just things, like our bank. We are no longer with our, well, not that we're no longer, but we had to get a new bank out here because they didn't have the one we had out there. Our insurance, cutting off, changing everything, our license plates, everything, just changing things off and cutting off things that were burdens and relieving us of that. And so, what I want to encourage you guys is, if you need a bondservant in your life, you need to go to Jesus. You need to go to Jesus because he is the greatest bondservant. He is the greatest burden lifter. He will lift your burdens off of you. I'm telling you, we can have only so long of a fight of battling. And I'm telling you, we have done years and years and years of fighting and battling, that at some point you have to learn how to build altars, because it's not always about fighting. It's about building altars, and it's about just being in God's presence, being in his presence. Like, do you guys even know what that feels like? Do you know what that means to just be in his presence, to sit at the altar? And the altar is the place where the enemy cannot touch you. It's not always a battle. It's not always a battle. Abraham, he was a man who built altars. Be like Abraham. Build the altars and allow Jesus to be the bondservant in your life. And if you are someone who is in position that can be a bondservant to someone else, do so. Please do so. Do so. Because those who refresh others will themselves be refreshed. So, I want to encourage you guys. Keep going. Keep going. God is faithful. He will do what he says he's going to do. And through things that may seem like it's such a burden, it's actually Jesus lifting that burden off of you. So allow him to do it. And as always, if you haven't started, start today, because there is no time like the present time. Take care, you guys.